Hi everyone, this is Lakshmi Pratury, and we have with us Gazaldhaliwal. As you know, I don't
Hello.
give long introductions, and but we'll get right into the conversation. But I want to set the tone for why we are doing this. This is a collaboration between INKWomen and Herky, and Herky's CEO is Neha Bagaria, who's an INK Fellow, just like Ghazal. And we are working with Herky to launch this book where we are covering stories of 49 women. You know, why 49? Because a little over 49% of the world is women. So we wanted to cover 49 women and have it's going to come out as a book with all their stories. And this is a conversation to prep for the book and to have our entire community have access to amazing women who are changing the world in their own way, because change is always not a huge thing at a time. It's a drop at a time, but then when you turn back, you kind of see what a huge sea of change it has made. So with that, we have Gazal Dhaliwal today, who's a script writer, who's an activist, who is many things, and more than anything, somebody I dearly, dearly love, and am amazed at all the stuff she does. She's an INK Fellow. So with that, we start the conversation. We have Ghazal coming to us from Bombay, and where she's, I'm sure, going to tell us what she's in the middle of, some thick at work at something really cool, and always something cool. So with that, Ghazal, let's start with today. Like, what are you doing today? And I know I must say, I've binge watched Mismatched already, all the seasons. So waiting for the new season. I think, is it the only show that has been renewed fourth time by Netflix or something like that? It's
Yeah,
a
the only Netflix India show which has
yeah,
Netflix India original, which
originals. Yeah,
which is
yeah,
got a fourth season. Uh,
yeah.
it's pretty much the first and only one. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And this is
Yeah,
your baby, right? From the beginning, this is something
yes,
you
yes. This
came
is
up
my
with.
seventh year of writing Mismatched now. The
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Marissa. We
Yeah.
started writing it in 2019, actually. Um,
Uh-huh.
the first season came out in 2020 during COVID,
Correct.
during
Yeah.
lockdown. And now currently we're writing the fourth season, which will also be the final season.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, I
You
mean,
decided it's going to be the final season?
yeah, it's been announced as the final season. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
And we
Mm.
also want it that way because we don't just want to keep stretching the story just to keep getting more seasons. No, we know that this is what this story deserves. This is the
Yeah.
amount of story that these characters deserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
that's where we're at. Today I was actually having an easy day because it's
Uh,
Sunday and weeks
uh-huh.
are pretty hectic
Mm-hmm.
these days
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
writing mismatched.
Yeah. Yeah. So what,
Um,
tell me a little bit about your writing. Especially, let's take mismatch because it's the current thing,
yeah.
process. Like I've seen in the US, there is a writer's room, and there's like a whole process. So recently we were at the Simpsons writer's room, and it was quite amazing process. So for one
Wow.
of the shows, they were doing table reading kind of a thing.
Okay.
So it's super organized. You just go, it's 1 hour of reading, everybody reads, and they're out, and
Mm.
the writers are rewriting, and whatever comes out of it, etc.
Yeah.
Is it in India? Is it mostly led by you, or is there a writer's room? Just tell us a little bit about how it works.
Right. So see, as far as mismatched is concerned, it has been pretty much the writer's room structure and format
Okay.
where I was first brought on board as the creator, lead writer.
Theater. Mm-hmm.
And um, then I interviewed a few writers, prospective writers, and then I put together a writer's room.
Okay.
So at the time of season one, there were three writers, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we started. And now for the final season, I have like a writer's room of five writers, including myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then the journey is usually like this, that, for the first, you prepare a season story. Like
Mm-hmm.
usually you spend the first couple of months brainstorming,
Mm-hmm.
figuring out a season arc, like a broad story of the um,
Mm-hmm.
season. Is everything
Yeah.
okay? Uh,
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
somebody, no, somebody asked what's going on in the
Oh,
this thing. Okay.
okay.
Um, yeah, so you write a season arc, and that
Oh,
is
sorry. I'm
usually
sorry. I think Aishwarya is asking, is it already a recorded session? There's no option to speak on it. There's no option to speak, but you can put your questions in the Q&A box. So it's a live interview that's going on right now with Ghazal. But if you have any questions, you can post it in Q&A. Sorry about the interruption, Ghazal. Go ahead.
no, that's okay. I
Yeah.
uh, I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to feel not included, which is why I thought,
Yes.
okay, I'll just quickly address that. But I'm glad
Yeah.
you addressed, Lakshmi.
Yeah. Mm.
So we write what is the season arc in about a couple of months. Then there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of back and forth with the platform. So, because
Mm-hmm.
of course Netflix would have their own ideas, they also know what what is working on their platform right now, and from our ideas, what they might have some new ideas, or they might have some disagreements. So there's a lot of back and forth on the season arc that happens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Once we come to a decision on that, then we
Mm.
start developing the episodes. Then the
Right.
episodic storylines are like the episodes are detailed out. So we have
Right.
episode storylines, and then finally we have episode screenplays. So
Correct.
usually it's about a 6 to 8 month
Okay.
process.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that is if you're really like streamlined and structured.
Yeah.
Um, which
Mm-hmm.
I like tend to do. I like
Yeah.
I
I
like
can
to do.
imagine.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a I have a very hard time
Yeah.
not letting my writers know how
Yeah.
stressed I am. I have a very
Yeah.
hard time not letting them know that I'm looking at the clock every minute.
And so I will come back to the to mismatched in a minute, because I think this being structured leads to the next question I have. Is this structure comes from the fact that you've been an engineer, you're trained as an engineer, you worked at Infosys, and you worked in technology, and then you made a switch to script writing.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is, honestly, I think that's a dream of a lot of engineers, I think. And
Yeah.
we often joke that I think in India, everybody feels you have to do either medicine or engineering. So you just do that first, get it out of the way, and then you start thinking of what do I really want to be. So
Exactly.
as you know, we
Yeah.
run something called Writers Inc., where we train, it's about script writing. And literally half the class is somebody who's been an engineer at some point. All the applications at least are, a
Yeah.
lot of them are for people who are engineers who want to do something different. So
Yeah.
how was that transition? Did you always know? We'll go through your personal story a little bit later, but did you always know you wanted to be a scriptwriter, but did engineering just to get it out of the way, or it came to you after, as you're working as an engineer, it came to you saying, "This is not what I want to do." When did you know you wanted to be a scriptwriter?
Um, I always was very creatively inclined. Um, so I was always also very good in studies. I used to actually enjoy maths, which
Yeah.
most kids hated, but I really, really enjoyed maths.
Mm-hmm.
So I was good at studies as well, but I also really used to love to um, actually direct plays, act in plays, give
Mm-hmm.
talks, like,
Right.
debate
Yeah.
competitions and uh, things like that. And I used to, like, as a child, I used to learn singing So yeah,
Okay.
I was always sort of had a lot of creative inclinations,
Uh-huh.
but back then, I'm from Patiala, which is like a
Yeah.
smaller tier two city in Punjab.
Mm.
And this was back in late 90s when the time had come for me to choose what to do, career, like what to study post
Mm-hmm.
my, schooling. And like you said, the most obvious options were doctor or engineer. And
Yeah.
I was really good at math, so it almost seemed sort of obvious. Although
Correct.
I had taken a beat before
Uh-huh.
making that final decision because my heart was not in it. So the only thing one used to hear that time was mass media. Oh, there's a course in mass media also that you can do, which
Mm-hmm.
mostly, was journalism and things like that.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
One had not heard of or imagined film
Yeah.
school or not thought that, okay, that could be a viable option to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, something that keeps happening to you. Like it's not
Correct.
something I did, I would say.
Yeah.
Engineering just happened to me.
Correct.
Um,
Correct. Yeah. And I would
I
also say
my
that I think at that time I wanted you to talk a little bit about it is that it felt like a lack of exposure, right? You know, mass media felt like journalism, and what does journalism actually mean? You know,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think in the time when we were growing up for sure, and even when you were growing up, is we didn't know the options. Even if somebody said journalist,
no,
what does it mean? Like writing for some
no,
local paper, it doesn't seem interesting.
yes,
For me, I still remember watching Christiana Amanpour on TV and saying, "My God, this is what journalism is. This is what it
yeah,
could have been, and I
yeah.
could have done this, you know." But the exposure, lack of exposure, I think you don't know what a journalist does.
Yeah,
So
no idea. That time there was no idea.
yeah,
And I remember I had a very clear memory of me being very confused. And my mother just saying, can you please not worry and just do engineering? Like it would
yeah,
make everyone less worried
stress.
because everyone
Yeah,
was worried since I was confused. So I
yeah,
said, fine. Like for
yeah,
me, my mother is just like I love her beyond. So I was like,
yeah,
I can't have you worried. So
yeah.
um I did that. But interestingly, I wanted to make this point. You had said that so many engineers want to actually just be creative, get into the other creative fields and all that. And this is something I used to feel so I worked with Infosys, right, for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Mysore. And all corporates have these events where there's lots of,
Yeah,
performances and things like that, like really big
right. Yeah.
deals there.
Mm.
So there used to be that stuff, like, and it used to be pretty large scale. And there used to
Uh-huh.
be so many of my colleagues who
Mm-hmm.
would write so well, who would get on stage, sing so beautifully, who would have
Mm.
prepared something. And I
Yeah.
used to watch them and think, what are they doing here? They
Yeah.
need to they need to be like creating out there in the world. And I
Yeah.
also know that many of them are far more talented than I am. It's just
Yeah.
that I took the step, and I think most of them don't or didn't.
Right. Yeah. And for
So,
you to take the step, did you take a course or something, or you just said, I'm had it, I'm just going to move to Bombay and try it? Like, what was because script writing is very technical, actually. You know, it's not just like you get up one morning and say, oh, I'm going to write.
mm,
You know, you have to
mm,
know where is the beat, where does it end. You know, an episodic writing is different than novel writing, is different than memoir writing, you know. So script writing for films is different than television. I mean, there is actually a
mm,
methodology involved in it, just like
yeah,
engineering. So
yeah.
did you take a course or something, or did you just jump?
See, there was that one time when I knew that I cannot continue being an engineer anymore.
Yeah,
That much I was sure of. What my step would be after that, I did not know. So I
yeah,
did quit Infosys. That was my first step.
yeah.
And also very sort of middle class sort of background where I knew that I do need to study something to be able to get into a new field. It can't
Yeah.
be that, oh, I just know, I just have it and I just start. So I knew that
Mm-hmm.
I would need to study something. So I did take a 1 year course in Xavier's in Mumbai,
Mm,
which was an overall sort of a filmmaking, like a broad
mm,
lens course, where it was about directing, writing, editing, all the like basics of everything.
mm.
So that was also the first time that I came to Bombay. So I took the entrance exam and I got
Yeah.
into it. And then yeah, I came to Bombay. I stayed here.
Yeah.
That was quite life changing. It
Yeah.
was life changing in a really, really big way for me
Uh-huh.
also, because
Yeah.
my transition journey also
Yeah.
started.
Yeah.
But yes, I took that course, and I'll also tell you that when I came to Bombay, I did not come thinking I want to be a writer.
Yeah.
I came
Okay.
thinking I want to be a director.
Okay.
You know, this is the thing I realized today, being a writer in the industry. Writers don't get much value or visibility outside. Like nobody truly thinks
Mm.
about, oh, this film has been written by somebody, or these
Mm-hmm.
dialogues have been written by someone. Yes, there
Mm-hmm.
may be a little more awareness today, but back
Yeah.
in 2003, when I came to Bombay,
Mm-hmm.
my mind was not going in the direction of, hey, I will write scripts. No, it was that I will direct films.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Writing happened along the way because I realized that I can only direct something which I write. So I
Mm-hmm.
started writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it started
Yeah.
paying. So I,
No, I actually heard this from a lot of directors that they said, actually the reason why we even started Writers Inc. was a lot of people said there aren't enough well-trained writers in India. So a lot
mm,
of people felt compelled that they had to write, whether it's
mm,
Anurag Kashyap or whether it is, it doesn't matter who the person is. They all felt
yeah,
they had to write, only they can write what they wanted to direct. So I think it's a lack of, again, exposure, training, because writing is very technical, so you have to, and but the emotion is also, you need to have both
yeah,
in it.
has to
Yeah.
be a very
Yeah.
good balance.
Yeah.
And sometimes you could have the, like you could have the technical prowess, you could have the emotions in place, but still,
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day art, and art is so unpredictable. Like the
Yeah.
the people who receive the art are
Mm-hmm.
are so varying and varied, and they vary every day. So there
Yeah.
is so much that is dependent on the person who receives the art as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, you can have all the talent, but I didn't used to believe it, but luck does have a big part to play
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Yeah. And it's, luck, like, I must say, like, Javed Akhtar, I was interviewing him one day and he said, and he's, I think, going back in writers not getting credit. I think Salim Javed were the first ones who made sure
yeah,
the world noticed there are writers by, he
yeah,
talks about how after the, film posters were put, they would send somebody to stencil on each poster written by Salim Javed because nobody
yeah,
thought it was
yeah,
important. And they were the
yeah,
first ones actually in Bollywood that brought the writers
yeah,
to
yeah.
say writers are important, kind of a thing.
They were the only ones whose names people, just Janta started to know
No,
that, oh,
yeah,
Salim
yeah.
Ravi have written it.
Right.
Uh,
So, for writing and, for your creative things also, I think if we talk about your transition journey, creative arts played a big role because you were born a boy and you wanted to transition to be a woman because it's something you always felt in your childhood,
yeah,
but didn't know how to express it, didn't know how to deal with it. And then you were away and you actually made a film about, in as part of your background, you did a film about a transition journey. and you played it for your parents at home. And tell us about that, what happened at that time, because first of all, in Patiala, it's not like it's Bombay or Delhi. Maybe actually it's a good thing it was Patiala. Sometimes in bigger cities, the oppression is also more, the pressure is also more.
Yeah,
So, growing up as a boy, first of all, it's not like you had a lot of people who transitioned around you. Um,
yeah.
what was it like to feel you wanted to be a woman and be a boy when you were younger? When did you know you wanted to be a girl? When did you come to terms with it?
I knew by the time I started having conscious thoughts about my identity, which would be 5 or 6 years old. Even by then, I knew that
Mm-hmm.
something was off because I used to look forward to my older cousin sister's clothes, which would
Yeah.
get passed down to me. So I used to look
Uh-huh.
forward to them. I used to hate my boy clothes.
Yeah.
So the awareness was there. Acceptance took a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Acceptance, when I say acceptance, I also mean self-acceptance.
Correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
me accepting who I was took a long time also because there was no awareness.
Correct. Yeah.
And also one never saw anyone
Correct. Yeah.
like myself
Felt
in
that.
the ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
just thought, okay, this is some sort of craziness that I'm dealing with. And
Yeah.
it's something to be ashamed about, and I must hide it at any cost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's such an also patriarchal sort of mindset, right, that we've has been imposed on us that if you're feminine, you're laughable. Like if a
Right.
boy is feminine, it's
Mhm.
you would be mocked at. And
Yeah.
so I would do everything possible to suppress that femininity. But it was
Yeah.
just so like it was me. So
Mm-hmm.
that tussle every day, that was somehow I have to walk straight. I have to not move my arms too much. I have to
Mm-hmm.
not, sing songs which are female singers.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was one time in some school function, I sang a song which was from a Wahida Rehman movie.
Mm.
And I said that this is a Wahida Rehman movie song. And there was the group of boys who laughed and they said, "Aa gayi Wahida Rehman." This is me as
Yeah.
a
Correct. Yeah. Boy.
seventh standard boy.
Yeah.
And I remember after that, I didn't sing in school. So I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
get myself to come to the
Yeah.
microphone and sing after that.
Yeah.
So every day there were instances like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was able to start accepting myself only by the age of 18 or 19 when there was like some free access to internet that became
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know the term transgender or transsexual
Mm-hmm.
back then, but I just knew what I knew was sex change. I want to change my sex. That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had the first access to a Yahoo search, I just searched sex change, and then
Mm-hmm.
this list of websites opened up, blogs
Uh-huh.
opened up, which
Mm-hmm.
were written by transgender women, which were
Mm-hmm.
about gender affirmation surgeries and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. That was the day I would like, I still get goosebumps thinking of that.
Yeah.
It just, totally shook up my world and
Yeah.
made me suddenly feel like, hey, I mean, you're not crazy. See,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
natural. It happens
Right.
to other people. It happens
Mm-hmm.
to very few people, but you just happened to be one of those few people. You don't
Mm-hmm.
happen to be crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
By then you were
so
already in engineering and all that stuff. You were already
I was in my first year engineering. Yes, I was away from. Yeah, I had also left Patiala by then.
correct.
I studied in Jaipur.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I first went to a cyber cafe and
Uh-huh.
found this out. It sounds so dramatic. It is
Yeah.
dramatic.
It is. It
I
is.
really feel like there's a lot of dramatic stuff happening around me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, I think it's that the the moments that change are thinking about ourselves, whatever it is,
Yeah.
are very
Yeah.
dramatic moments. And it's like, sometimes I mean, like for me, that minute, I still feel it, like whatever that minute is, you go back in time, you're in that cyber cafe when you first opened it, when you read the first thing, say, oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm not crazy, you know. Just that itself is like there are people like me, whatever that is, in my case, it's getting married in my 30s. In your case, it's something else. I mean, each of us, whatever that is, that decision is very, very dramatic. So you went through engineering college as a boy, right? So,
Yeah. I stayed in a boys' hostels for 4 years. Um,
mm-hmm, yeah,
I mean, of course, there were segments of boys who sometimes bullied me or made fun of me, etc. But I also made some very, very good friends in the
uh-huh,
hostels who were also protective and
mm-hmm,
just treated me like just a
yeah,
friend, just a person, not
correct, yeah,
not an effeminate boy,
right.
because
So were
yeah,
you an effeminate boy? Like, could people tell that you were
oh yeah,
feminine by that?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
I
uh,
don't think there has been any change in my mannerisms
okay,
after I
okay,
transitioned. Like I was
yeah.
pretty much this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you actually, I mean, it was harder for you to, I mean, at least you thought it would be hard to come out to your parents, to tell them what you were feeling. So tell us
Mm.
about the film you made and you showed
Yeah.
it and what your father said.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, that film school for me was life changing in two ways. One was, of course, professionally, but even like on in my personal life journey, the
Mm-hmm,
final project in that course was to be a documentary film, like a 15 to 20 minute. The subject was the assignment was a socially relevant documentary film, 15 to 20 minutes is what we had to make. And um, the first thing obviously that came to me was the you know about transgender people, like a film about them. So
mm-hmm,
I thankfully had a group of like the five of us who were assigned one group. Thankfully, they all just immediately came on board. I actually came out to them and then
mm-hmm.
requested them that we could do this, and they were all immediately on board. These were boys and girls, and
Yeah,
I've been really lucky with people
yeah.
who I've met along the journey. And so we
Mm-hmm,
took about, I think, a couple of months to make that film. I know that I interviewed like a lot of people from the Hijra community. I
mm-hmm,
interviewed a trans woman who was in the middle of her transition. I
mm-hmm,
interviewed a trans man, Ajay Mafatlal. He's from the Mafatlal group of industries. So he's
mm-hmm,
he's a trans man.
mm-hmm,
Um, interviewed lawyers, surgeons. Like it was a really, I'm still very proud of it. It was
mm-hmm.
called To Be Me. And
Oh,
through that documentary,
mm-hmm,
um, at the end of that documentary, I came on screen and I sort of came out and just accepted myself for the world.
mm-hmm.
And still very proud. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
student film, but I'm quite
yeah.
proud of it. So yeah, then I took that back home to Patiala,
Mm-hmm,
played it for my parents, and the moment it got over, my dad just turned to me and said, "So, when are you doing it?" And
oh,
yeah,
uh-huh,
and that was that. I mean,
yeah,
he was a rock after that at every
yeah,
step of the way.
yeah,
He took a
yeah.
loan for my transition process. And it was a big amount back then. It was like it took cost him 7 lakhs. And
Mm-hmm,
he was a middle class sole earner. He was the sole
mm-hmm,
provider.
mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I dwell on it a lot, but
Yeah,
over the years, it's one only realizes how hard it is to provide.
correct.
And,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, he's
but
a
but not make you feel the burden also. It's like it's okay,
never,
you do it, but never make you feel like, look at the loan I'm taking, or this or that,
never.
or
I had
anything.
no idea he took a loan. I
Yeah.
found out early this year, which is why it's
Oh, wow.
so much on my mind that
Yeah.
he took a loan from his office to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fund my transition, my surgery,
Uh-huh.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, matlab, monetarily, yes, but even otherwise, like emotionally, such a rock.
Yeah.
He
Yeah. Yeah.
he I mean, it was very hard for my mother. My mother
Uh,
was also always like very, very loving. But
yeah.
it was a very difficult journey for her to see her
Right.
son, losing a son sort of. And
Correct.
then,
Yeah.
yes, leaving a daughter, but losing a son. Right. So,
Correct.
but my dad was always there to support her as well.
Yeah.
And then both of them went around to my entire neighborhood in
Mm-hmm.
Patiala, all the houses in our lane, in our colony,
Mm.
informing each one of them that I was their daughter now and that they
Mm.
would expect them to treat me the same way. Can't even
I mean, I tell
imagine
you,
how
every
tough.
time you say this, I'm so touched. It just must have been such a tough journey for them, but they did it so beautifully. Just unbelievable, actually, for me,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
they have done. And tell
They're
us what your neighbors
divine.
said. One
Sorry.
of your neighbors said, you said one of your neighbors said that you're better than his daughter or something like that, right? Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
well, there were a couple of neighbors, like one of them didn't understood. The other one was you should have just slapped him,
Yeah.
fixed him by slapping him,
Yeah.
and things like that. Um, and then yeah, there was I think some uncle who said that yeah, you look even more uh beautiful than his own daughter or whatever. I don't even remember
Yeah.
these
I
things.
know. I remember something like that.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm growing old. My memory is terrible.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
my memory is really bad now.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very selective memory. But
Yeah.
I had a whole like there was a wave of acceptance that I got after
Correct.
that
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
My relatives also, I was able to show my film to, and
Yeah.
thankfully, most of them were also, all of them were
Yeah.
also on board.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've,
Yeah.
I can't say this enough that I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
most transgender people,
Yeah.
98%, 99% of them don't have this kind of families, and it's
Yeah.
a much
Yeah.
harder journey for them.
Yeah, and for me, knowing this, first of all, as a parent, I can imagine what a parent goes through, right? And secondly, their acceptance. And thirdly, like to go around and tell everyone to make
Yeah,
sure you're treated with respect. The whole thing was about when she comes here, you have to accept her as our daughter. I mean, to me, that is such an amazing journey. And also,
yeah,
I think in India, we talk about, oh, like people in the cities are modern, small towns, and things like that. But I feel this is such an example of the heart of a town. It doesn't matter, it's big or small or whatever, of this little colony, of
yes,
the little lane, that
yeah,
accepted you as a daughter, and that is
yeah,
such a huge gesture,
absolutely.
yeah,
Your background, your education, all of
yeah,
this has nothing to do with,
yeah,
how you are going to be as a human being to another human being or to your
yeah,
own family or your own children. The most
yeah,
educated of people can, cannot know, may not know how to parent, maybe
uh-huh,
terrible
yeah.
parents.
Hmm.
It has
And
nothing, I
also,
honestly, nothing to
and
do with
also
education.
And also, I think the more you have, the more you have to lose. So I've seen this a lot in very wealthy families where they just freak out if the child says, "Oh, I don't want to come to the family business. I just want to do like
Yeah,
write or something." I mean, I think we freak out about the littlest of things, and for your parents to accept something so huge, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
they were worried about how will her future be? Will she be happy? Will she get accepted? You know, you're worried not just about you and your lane, but how will the world treat you, you know? So because now you are something different. So will you have discrimination in the world? I mean, there are so many things as a parent, it goes through your mind for your
Yeah.
child. It's
But
not just
uh, there's a very there's a distinction. Like it can seem
yeah,
small, but the distinction, yes, worries about the world. But there'll be one set of parents whose worries would be, what will the world say about us? And the
right.
other persons, there'll be this set of parents for whom the worry would be, how will the world treat our
Well,
child?
treat our child. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
लोग क्या
the
कहेंगे versus
log kya kahenge is one set of parents who usually don't stand by their child.
correct. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
हमारे बच्चे के साथ क्या होगा, लोग क्या करेंगे,
Yeah.
that set of parents will become rocks. They'll be like, I'm going to protect you.
Yeah. I think it's a great phrase. लोग क्या कहेंगे versus लोग क्या
क्या
करेंगे.
करेंगे? Yeah,
But they're two different things.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think it's that's a very important thing for a parent, I think. So you went through this transition journey, Ghazal, when you were in Bombay. I mean, by that time you already decided you wanted to be a writer and went through this transition
mm,
journey.
yes.
I want to talk a little bit about physically what was it? Like how many months did it take to transition? And
Yeah.
you did it out of the country, right? So where
My
just tell me a
surgery
little
was
bit about the physical part of it.
right. So I would say my transition started soon after my documentary film was done, which was 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, sorry, 2006. 2006. So my transition started in six, which would mean that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
oral hormones like um,
Mm-hmm.
estrogen and um,
Mm-hmm.
um, anti-androgens, which is testosterone blockers. The
Mm-hmm.
hormonal transition started in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there is, the whole process of um, like changing your dressing, changing your styling. Like I got my hair done, my
Yeah. You already had
eyebrows.
long hair because you were a Sardarji,
No,
right? So you already
no,
had
no,
long.
no, not that. No, no. I had cut my hair,
Oh, you
long
did,
hair.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Even as a teenager, I had cut my hair. That
Because
was
I remember your
another,
childhood pictures with the pagdi.
yeah. My childhood pictures, yes, but in my teenager, I had cut. That had been another big
Yeah.
drama with my grandfather that time.
Uh,
Uh, but
uh,
I couldn't bear the thought of a beard on my face,
yeah.
back then. So I had to cut the hair so that I could also shade
Yeah.
my face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, so you're changing your appearance. All of
Mm-hmm.
that started, and then in 2007 is when I went um, to Thailand, to Bangkok for the actual surgery,
Mm-hmm.
the gender affirmation surgery, where my mom came with me and my bua, who's my dad's sister, she
Mm-hmm.
came. My dad unfortunately couldn't come; he didn't get his passport in time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Okay.
three ladies went.
Yeah.
Um, but transition, like hormones, take a long period of time. They keep
Yeah.
making your body keeps changing. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
Yeah. That's okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Your
so
body
even
keeps changing, you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
even though my surgery happened in 2007, but I do think that I kept feeling my body change even till 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
a large part of my transition happened in Bombay.
Yeah.
Uh, I was
Sorry,
living
I
there.
have one more question about the surgery. You went to Bangkok for the surgery. Is it
Yeah.
the entire surgery done in one go, or is it done in multiple surgeries? I mean, is it like you had to be there for a week or a month, or
No,
you
I'd
have to
been there.
go back two, three times?
I had to be there for a month. It
Month,
was one surgery.
one surgery.
Um, yeah, where so they use the male genitalia in a way that they
Mhm.
create female genitalia out of it,
Yeah,
right?
out of the
So
yeah
it's a singular uh,
surgery.
surgery,
Mm.
and a lot of people opt for additional different surgeries also. Like there
Mm.
could be breast transplants, there could be fat redistribution, and things
Mm.
like that. So people
Mhm.
can choose to do those surgeries in one go, or some
Mhm.
of them divide them up and things like that.
Mhm.
I just did that one surgery.
Mm.
The
Only the genitalia transformation. Did you do the
genitalia.
breast implants or something like that, or
No,
you did?
no, I didn't do that.
Okay.
So I I I was quite satisfied with the
Yeah.
growth that I got from my hormones.
Hormones.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Does it
so
stop growing your beard and all that stuff also?
facial hair is not impacted. So for that, I
Okay.
had to do uh,
Okay.
laser treatment. Yeah, but
Okay.
body hair gets reduced a lot with the
Oh,
hormones. It's just that
okay.
the facial hair, I think, is a lot more, I don't know, adamant. It doesn't
Correct.
get
Yes.
impacted.
Yeah. Tell me about it. As you grow older, you know how adamant it is. At this age,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to grow a beard. Yeah, yeah. So one of the things I do want to talk about the transition, Ghazal, is that did your state of mind change after the transition in terms of even though you knew it, everybody accepted it or whatever, but actually going through the physical transformation, did it
Mm-hmm.
bring a sense of peace? Did it bring a sense of coming home for you?
Hmm. I would say eventually it did. Um, Early on, there are so many insecurities that you're
Right.
dealing with. And um, at least, especially back then, I'm sure it's there even today, but back then, because there were such few people who were doing it,
Uh-huh.
there was no one visible. This is in 2008, 9, right? Like even in Bombay that time,
Mm-hmm.
you would see people from the Hijra community, but you wouldn't see anyone actually transitioning male to female, uh,
Yeah.
still looking masculine, but presenting feminine, going
Mm.
to work every day, traveling by local trains, walking
Yeah.
on footpaths where people are staring at you. So, like I said, I was transitioning even after the surgery. It's not like that, oh, this is the
Yeah.
final
Correct.
climax of the movie. It's not that. It's just
Yeah.
one step of the transition journey. So even
Mm-hmm.
after the transition,
Mm-hmm.
like when there was still some facial hair, still
Mm-hmm.
some laser treatment was going on, there used
Mm-hmm.
to be a lot of times when I would feel so insecure about people staring at me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there
Yeah.
were times when I like people told me that, you look great, you look fine, but it took me a long time to get over that insecurity as well. It took me
Mm-hmm.
a while to start feeling like, okay, I look nice in these clothes because that sense of not fitting in or not belonging to my body was so ingrained that
Mm-hmm.
it took a long time for me to believe that, okay, I was fitting in now. Like
Mm-hmm.
this body
Yeah.
was now mine. It took
Right.
it took a while to get there.
Right.
There was a
Right.
small
Yeah.
incident that I was actually recently sharing with someone. The first
Yeah.
time I had to get my eyebrows done. First
Uh-huh.
time in my life I had to do them. I had very bushy eyebrows. I was very
Yeah.
scared because I knew that, it's very painful. I'd heard
Yeah.
that. But I was like, I have to do it. So I went to the salon. I was
Uh,
very scared. And this lady comes and she's about to start. I was so nervous. I said, should I have a painkiller maybe? And
yeah.
she just looked at me stunned. She said, no, just sit still. And I sat still and she did my eyebrows, very, very, very painful. But then I
Yeah.
looked at myself in the mirror,
Yeah.
and that was one moment which was like a switch. Something
Yeah.
huge switched for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
for most people, it's something small. For me, it was my
Right.
eyebrow. Suddenly, it
Correct.
felt like, okay, it changed something about my face.
Correct.
That was
Correct.
a big moment of acceptance for me as well. But
I'm
yeah, it
just
was really
thinking,
fun.
I'm just thinking of the woman who did it going, who is this person who
Yeah.
wants to have a painkiller to get her eyebrows done? Now you
Yes,
know what women go through, right? In terms of whether it's waxing or eyebrows or whatever.
yeah,
So,
it's
so
truthfully it.
yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting because it's a beautiful story because something so little can change your sense of identity, your sense of
Yeah.
wow, I could do. Like, for example, for me, when I traveled on my own for the first time and like
Mm.
went somewhere, and it was like a revelation that I can do this on my own, like I can go to a new city where I didn't know anybody. I can drive, I can do everything on my own. It's like a huge revelation of
Yeah,
independence.
it
So there are
it
very little
must have
things
been.
actually. Yeah,
No, but it's a huge thing for a woman to
yeah,
be able to do that even today. Like
right. Yeah.
most women feel quite
Mm.
in I'm missing the word, but like
Incapable, it's not just incapable, it's sort of you worry too much, like something might happen. What if I don't know? I mean, I still remember going for a first time to a place, renting a car, figuring out how to get to that place, checking
yeah,
into a hotel. Like these were so etched in my memory of doing it for the first time. Like you sit behind this car, you're like, will I know how to get there? And these were the days where there was no GPS, right? There's a map in
yeah,
front of you, you're trying to
yeah,
navigate in a new
yeah,
country. So, these little things that you do that set you a tone for the rest of your life, like that clicking, I can do this on my own, makes you say, I can do anything on my own. Like
yeah,
it's just that, and even for you, like, okay, I did my eyebrows. Like I am really, I'm a woman. I mean, like that, like how your face changes actually because of eyebrows. It
yeah.
completely changes, right?
It totally does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The
So
way it
we'll
frames my face.
now
They,
do any of these experiences you had. See, mismatched is actually probably maybe एक लड़की को देखा तो ऐसा लगा maybe like your first thing that's totally your own
hmm.
uh,
I think that's
endeavor,
still
so to
yet to
speak.
come. That's still
Pardon?
yet. That's yet to come.
Yeah, but still,
That's
I mean,
not
when I
out.
see लड़की को देखा तो ऐसा लगा, I didn't, I was not expecting what happens right before intermission. It wasn't like, there were hints or anything of that sort. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
pick the most feminine person, most somebody who's supposed to be outside a fashion icon and all these, a person you chose to play a character, also somebody who
Yeah.
wouldn't give you hints to
Yeah.
be in love with another woman, kind
Yeah.
of a thing.
Yeah.
So everything about it was unexpected. The theme was unexpected. And somehow,
Yeah.
how did you guys keep it a secret before the film came out? I mean, I would have expected journalists to write about, oh, Sonam Kapoor, acts as a lesbian or something like that, but nothing, nada. I mean, there was just nothing about
Mm.
it.
Yeah, but
So,
it had to be that way, right? For the
yeah,
story to work.
right.
Because we are giving you the reveal only at the interval. So
Interval.
if
I
the
mean, it was like
journalist,
such a shock. I was like, I had to think, kya hua? What happened? Like it was not that it's terrible or in bad or whatever. Like I kept thinking, how did I not see it coming? Like it just was like,
yeah.
really, really
No,
beautiful.
but yeah, there was a lot of me in Ek Ladki,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of me in Mismatched also.
Yes.
Like, there's a very strong presence of queer narratives in Mismatched in every
Correct.
season. So
Correct.
I make sure I do my best to ensure very significant queer presence in everything
Yeah.
I do. Now
Mhm.
that I do have some say in the industry, so I try to make that happen.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you ask me something that is fully me from all my heart, that's yet to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully,
And
that will be something I direct.
Yeah. And also, Ghazal, I do want to say that it's not just that you've transitioned from a man to a woman, you've transitioned from a man to be a gorgeous woman. I mean, I still remember when you spoke on the Ink stage, some of the
Thank
people who were there
you.
told me that their jaw dropped when you showed the photo of you as a boy because no one, I mean, you were in a mini skirt, this just beautiful woman who walks onto the stage and talks. To this day, like, some of my friends said that was the most dramatic talk for them ever, at because they were just like, because most of us have, you were the first person I met with whom I could talk openly about what is this journey like or whatever. And for most of the people, they have never met anybody who was a
Yeah,
transgender, who's
I
who's
remember.
famous and who's like out there talking and whose films they have seen. It
Yeah,
just so many of those things were together. That
yeah,
so I want to take some questions that have been posted.
sure.
I mean, some of them are saying that somebody
I'm
like
sorry I've
Ranisha.
not been able to, yeah, read and
Amisha
respond to
saying
everything.
that she's an engineer and she's working on her first book, which is going to be published, which is fantastic. And
Amazing.
also we have someone like Arani saying, "I'm an engineer but want to do something creative," and someone else said that I'm 36. Is it too late to start being a writer? So maybe talk a little bit about, if you're an engineer, want to do something creative, what are some of the things they could perhaps do. And the first thing I do want to say, I want to underscore what you said in terms of sometimes first you have to leave what you're doing to think of what to do next. Like you left Infosys. I always tell people don't try to have a safety and then leave because you have to stop thinking one way to start thinking another way. We always want a safety catch, especially in relationships. So this relationship is not working, but when I meet somebody better, I leave this. I'm like, no, you
No.
stop this first and only then go after something else.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what do
yeah.
you suggest for the transition from a engineer to being something creative?
Um, See, I would say this that today, if you ask me honestly, I think today it's probably a little bit easier than it was
That's true.
in time.
Very true. Very true.
Because creativity has become such an accessible thing today because everyone has cameras with them,
Uh-huh.
the ability to put out your work, whether it's written work or whether it's something you've shot or um, performed, sung, anything. It is far easier to put it out there. And
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
one didn't have avenues like that at all. Like, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I remember that the only way for me to show my work to anyone was to go from one producer's office to another producer's office, just leaving copies of my scripts with them, hoping that
Yeah.
they won't steal my work and just make it without
Correct.
their input.
Yeah.
That was the only way for me to show what I was capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
as opposed to today, where you have, I mean, yes, there is also a lot of noise on social media,
Yeah.
but if you have talent
Mm-hmm.
and you stay at it, it's also about persistence. Like you
Correct.
will
Yeah.
have talent, but it also takes persistence. If you keep putting
Correct.
yourself out there, keep putting your work out there, you
Mm-hmm.
will start to, like, your talent will start to get noticed. I've seen that often what happens is that people give up after trying for, let's say, 2 months, 3 months. But talent and time, both of these things is what is required for you to pull it off. Um,
Correct.
I would understand that at the age of 36, giving up a career is going to be much harder than I was 23, actually. I was quite young when I did that. It's a much, much bigger leap at the age of 36, which is why um, maybe doing this, where you
Yeah.
make space for yourself on your own first, test the waters, but keep testing the waters, I would say, for at least a year. Like, don't
Mm-hmm.
say, oh, I tested once, twice, three times. It's
Mm-hmm.
not happening.
Correct. Yeah.
No, don't judge your worth simply by how much views, how many views you're getting in just a month or 2 months or 3 months. No, your worth is not, it's like, I know it's instant gratification that we're seeking today most of the times, but I
Mm.
think worth is not something that can be calculated instantly.
Correct.
I think it's something that gets earned. So give yourself
And
time for that.
and I would also say that, you're saying a year. I say year is like a minimum you have to be willing to do. I mean, that is not even closed. I mean, even if you look at your journey, we are in 2025 now, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even your first break, everything came after you've been at it for at least 5, 6 years, like it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
easily. So I always say if you want to make a huge change, um, it's a decade before you see a big shift, but it's a
True.
minimum a year or 2 years before you see any movement at all, unless you are like super lucky you happen to have the right thing, you showed it to the right I mean, that's like 0.1%, you could be that, but as a rule of
Yeah.
thumb, I mean, even when
No,
somebody
but
joins my team.
the only reason I'm saying 1 year, which sounds like a short period of time, the only reason I'm doing that is because today the platforms are multiple. Like
I
the
agree.
visibility is far easier than it was, say, in my time. Like you're right. I
Mhm.
was writing and struggling for 7 years before my first work hit.
Correct,
From
correct, yeah,
2010 to 2017, I was only writing
yeah,
and struggling.
right.
2017 is when my first work, which was Wazir and then Lipstick.
Fazil, yeah, yeah, yeah,
But today, I do think like that period can be shortened for
correct,
people who have talent and people who have commitment, to
correct.
do it.
That's
Some
true.
people may have talent but not commitment. But
Correct, yeah.
people who have commitment, even within some talent, I think they can excel more than the
That's
other guys.
That's true. And so I think, Sunita, this answers your question of how come becoming a fearless writer who writes against stereotypes and is ready for everything to come up. How did you become that? I think once you hear Ghazal's story, it's easy to, not easy, but there's a context for why she's so fearless because you've been through all these things, Ghazal. So you feel strongly that certain voices need to be heard, certain thoughts need to be communicated, etc. And I do, and whether it's Nupur or others who are asking, Chandni, she answered about if you're an engineer, you want to go, you have to have that commitment and talent, both. I mean, the talent also is something not to be undermined. I mean, I could say, I want to be a sprinter and I want to run 100 meters in 4 minutes, but that's not my talent. So I think we also have to be very honest to ourselves about what our talent is and try it out and not
So,
fool ourselves to thinking we have a talent when we may not. And I want to, Shivani is asking something, is saying something that I think it's important, is that she saw you on the TV show Satyameva Jayate, and you've been with her since then. The way you said I'm at peace now in that show felt so overwhelming, and kudos to your parents, which I think is really truly important. And a lot of people are saying it's really great to be in touch with you. One of the
so
things.
wonderful. I just want to
Yeah,
thank all of you for
yeah,
such beautiful, lovely messages. I'm reading them, and I'm sorry
yeah,
I can't reply individually, but they're all very, very sweet. Thank
yeah,
you so
yeah,
much. If you haven't, by the way, seen my ink talk, then please do that as well. Because
yeah.
I think
So
that's
it
a,
was like an amazing moment for all of us when Ghazal became a fellow and gave that talk. It was, and the thing you should read the talk, see the talk, is because Ghazal is a writer. You know, that talk was one of the best scripts I have ever seen in action. It came from our heart, but it was extremely well prepared.
yeah.
That's how a talk should be. It has to be well
Yeah.
prepared.
Yeah.
There was a
And you
lot of
had 12
preparation.
minutes. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
there was quite a bit of preparation in that,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So one of the questions I want to ask is about mismatch. There was a question about that also. Is that where did that uh, inspiration for the thought come, Ghazal, in terms of mismatched, and also to cast in the lead character somebody who's not a well-known actress but a social media, somebody who's very popular in social media, not a known actress. You really went, I think probably, I would love to know how did you cast, or whoever, how did you cast that character? And also the whole theme of, like, for a girl, oh God, to get a guy like this who she always wanted should be good enough, but why is she always searching for something else, or being, going into it? And I was watching and I was saying, oh my God, that was me in my teenage. It's like being attracted to multiple things and stuff. But tell me, where did the inspiration for Mismatched come for you? Why, when did you say this is what I want to do about, and specifically about casting?
Um, okay, so the thing is, I can't take the credit for most of these things, to be
Right.
honest. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I can only take the credit for the writing part of it.
Yeah.
The casting goes totally out of the hands of a writer.
Right.
It
Yeah.
then just falls on the director and a lot on Netflix. And of course, the ability of the actor matters a lot.
Of
But
course. Yeah.
today, everyone is also very keen on casting people who have a lot of social media presence because they
Mm-hmm.
will bring those eyeballs, they will bring their followers, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's not the primary criteria. Of course, they need to know the job,
Right. They need to
but
be able to act. And she's a great actress, actually.
she's
She's
really
really
good.
good.
I'm just so
Really
happy.
good.
I'm just so
Actually,
happy.
everyone in that show is really, like really good. They were right for, I mean, the casting is fantastic for that show, for the
Yeah,
show,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Superb casting. Superb
Yeah.
casting.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so we got like pretty like I was very happy when she got cast and Rohit got
Yeah.
cast and their
Mm.
chemistry is just something
It's
which
great. Yeah.
everyone has gone gaga over. It's
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Right. Yeah.
I
And
just
also,
felt
I mean,
feel like
the
it's
idea
telling.
of mismatched, sorry, the idea of mismatched.
Again, so that is also
Yeah.
so the characters and the initial premise comes from a book called When
Correct.
the Middle Met Rishi.
Oh, okay.
It's a book by this
Correct.
Indo-American writer called Sandhya Menon.
Uh-huh.
So it's her book, and Netflix auctioned the rights, and then
Uh-huh.
they got me on board to adapt that.
Mm-hmm.
So about the first half of the first season is from the book. After
Okay.
that, we've, we had to make it our own after that because you
Correct.
cannot. The book had a small amount of material, and then because we had to make 4 seasons out of it. But
Right. Yeah.
the core of the two characters came from the book.
Okay.
That's what was the most exciting for me in the book.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's like you have to, you have to make it your own, but you have to stay true to what the writer originally thought about. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's like adopting a child, It's like yours now, but at the same time you have to respect where they come from.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's like,
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. You can't
And I
have the author not be happy because
mm-hmm.
sure, I mean, Netflix has bought the rights, but she should not feel that, oh, you ruined my baby. Like
Right,
you,
right.
yeah, and
Yeah.
yet you have to make it your own.
Yeah. And I do want to say there's a lot of comments here about your parents, and I think we have to acknowledge that, there are
Yeah.
people saying this is how a parent should be. You and your parents are so inspirational of what a human should be and how a parent should be. And I think a lot of credit goes to your parents for what they have been, they continue to be for you. So I think
Yeah, yeah.
Marissa is actually asking, could you share an exercise project or a routine you recommend for writers wanting to build both skill and portfolio? or what advice would you give for a first time writer? Is there any, like, write every day, or is there anything you would suggest? Any project, something they should do to even test if they want to be a writer or not? Yeah.
I wish I had something sparkling, which was unusual to say. But it's just, writing is
Mm,
just getting down to it and getting into the grind and just doing it. It's all about that.
yeah.
The thing is that with now AI and everything, like a lot of people are using that to write, to even write.
Yeah.
Um, not just to, like, let's say, ideate, but even to
Correct. Yeah.
just to ideate
Think
and then
about
to write as well. So
it.
it's sort of seeming easy to a lot of people today, but honestly, I think any anything that has some truth and some authenticity in it, something which would ring true, I think would have to come from the grind of writing, like actually putting
Yeah.
fingers to keyboard. Um,
Correct. Yeah.
and it's okay to give yourself even half an hour in a day. I tell people, like, so this is something I tell my mother. My mother is a very good writer. If she wants to be, but it's
Mhm.
just that she doesn't do it. So
Yeah.
I just told her this, that you take a notebook and your pen and sit down. That's it. That is all you have to do. Do nothing else for 30
Yeah.
minutes. Tell yourself, I'm sitting here for 30 minutes. Even if
Mhm.
I don't write it, I'm sitting with this, and I'm sitting. That's it.
And no other distraction.
No other distraction. And even if you don't get anything in your head, if you don't get any sentence, any word, what to write, don't write, but sit. Just sit with yourself for that half an hour. Promise yourself that this is it. And then if you make that a practice, then words will start coming. Um, it's very tempting to take the crutch of AI today, and AI does do great stuff. I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah.
Um, but I think the human voice is human voice.
Hmm.
And I do think that bringing one's own identity into one's work is something that can't be matched by AI, at least not today. From whatever I've seen and read, that's not
Right.
possible to do, at least today. So
Yeah.
it's important to try to avoid the crutch
Right. Yeah. And
and
also
sit with it.
what your experiences are very unique to you, and n- AI has got a general amalgamation of common experiences, but your specific experience is yours, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that is something you can bring to it. And also, I feel like if you're an engineer, you have to write a project proposal or something using AI is fine. But if you want to be a writer, then don't use AI. Then be a writer, like really put in the
yeah,
work. But if it's some other thing, like, okay, I got to do a presentation because I have to get this deal or something, by all means, use AI as much as possible. But if you want to be a writer, then just write, so
yeah,
that
yeah,
is that is something. So I just want to say, Liba says she's got a great lesson today in how to be a best parent. And I think that is the most important thing is also we have to learn how to be a parent also. It's one of the worst jobs with absolutely no training, with no it you don't know if what you're doing is
yeah,
right or not, and you can only be the best you can at any given point of time. So I think there's a lot to learn from how your parents have reacted, especially your mother when she couldn't totally accept. And in India, in Punjab, to lose a son is a is a
yeah,
big deal.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
actually, I have a question about that, Ghazal. I think from a man, when you become a woman, did you see what it means to be a woman more than you did before in terms of, the kind of, was there any subtle discrimination? You were like, wow, I was not treated like this when I was a man, but this is something I have to think about, whether it's traveling at night or whatever. Has there been a change in what you are as a person what you need to worry about a little bit more or not, going from a man to a woman?
Yeah, definitely that. Most certainly, that fear of stepping out into the in the night is definitely there. Like even uh, uh, when I'm back home in Patiala, my parents have become so overprotective about ये बॉम्बे नहीं है यहाँ पे अकेले बाहर मत जाओ.
Yeah.
Um, and in Bombay also, like earlier, I used to travel on, let's say, the local trains very often, even in the night, late in the night. But now I would think twice about doing that. Um, Definitely, that feeling of insecurity
Mm-hmm.
comes. Um, I have noticed that in meetings, like even if I'm, let's say, the senior most person in the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
people would look at the men and talk to them more than looking at me.
Yes, yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so things like that. And that's even like an idea I had about a short film that, a woman is transitioning from being a man to a woman.
Mm.
In a meeting earlier, people used to just talk to her when she was a guy. And now
Yeah,
when she's transitioned, nobody looks at her. They're
right.
only talking to the other men.
Yes, yeah, that is so true. That is so, so true. I think, you know what I mean? I always used to say, as a short brown woman in a room of tall white men, you have to like, be that much more assertive to be heard because people
Yeah.
always assume, like I was doing Anita Dongre interview earlier, and she was saying people assume ki, oh, you're the creative person, but I'm sure your husband runs the business behind the scenes, or like I'm sure you don't know the finances. You face this all the time as as a woman. So I just want to, I mean, I don't know, Ghazal will be back in a second, I guess, but I just want to thank all of you. There's so many comments here, I can't get to everything. And but I do want to say that Namita, Rani, Chandani, all of you, thank you so much for this. So we need to wrap up. This was supposed to be a 30-minute interview, but it was going so amazingly that I couldn't stop it. So thank you so much for everybody's time. And
Thank
sorry we
you.
spent over time, but Ghazal, this is amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And I
Thank
want
you,
to wrap
Lakshmi.
up.